Alrighty, we are wrapping up day one of practice for the FLW Tour presented by Costa Sunglasses on Kentucky Lake. Got our AOY leader, ledge master, Mark Rose here to break things down a little. Mark, you've been on Kentucky Lake a million times. Give me the lay of the land based on day one here.
Well, this go round, we're going to have a different Kentucky Lake than we've ever had in May. I said several years ago that these carp were going to, be the detriment of this lake, and it seemed like it got better there for a little while after I said that.
There were a few really good tournaments.
And then now I think we're seeing just the overwhelming mass of the population just taking up all the room in the lake. But it is what it is. They're there. We're going to have to deal with it this week. We're dealing with water temperatures in the mornings in the low 70s, right now high 70s throughout the day. If these nights can get kind of really muggy, this is the first real muggy night we've had, and that's what we really need to get them out there. And then there's probably a lot out there now. It's a different dynamic trying to find them. Those good old days of using your electronics to find big schools of fish on Kentucky Lake seems like they're a thing of the past. Now you can find big schools of fish, but they're not the kind you want. But there's some mixed in there, and you're just going to have to, guys going to have to think outside the box this week. He's going to try to figure out where those fish spend their time around because you go to all the traditional, I've got a screen full of waypoints here that I've caught. Well, all those areas are you can't fit a bass in there. So you've got to think outside the box and figure out where they're going, try some things different, maybe fish shallower, mix it up, just do some things a little bit different than we always have here, and I think that's what it's going to take to be able to do well in this tournament.
All right. One thing I wanted to ask about is the shad spawn. That played in the Elite Series tournament last week. I know you've caught them doing that here before. Did you get any inklings of that? Is that something you're looking for that'll play this week?
Yeah, I tried it this morning, and it didn't happen for me where I tried it at, and I'm going to try it, over the next couple mornings. Because we should be getting some tail. We've got the water temperatures right to see the tail end of that, and I'm going to be looking for it and trying. Because if you could do that, figure out a way to catch you some fish earlier early, and then go out there and try to stay in the middle of those carp and try to get a kamikaze that comes through and wants your bait. But outside of that, fishing for that one single in the middle of the carp, you're going to have to, my goal is to figure out where those fish are that are not mixed in with the carp, the schools of bass. There's still going to be big schools of fish here. Just got to find them.
Okay. I noticed you had a lot of rods on the deck today. Is that because you're fishing to find those fish more than you would have in the past, or are you just trying to look in different areas with your electronics?
No, I'm fishing. That's one of the things outside of the norm that I'm having to do today to get what bites I did get, and I'm having to fish. Used to, I would fish very little. Small percentage of my days in these 3 days were spent fishing. I probably spent 75% of my day today fishing, and I'm glad I did, because the couple areas that I found, I had a few fish on them, I found them fishing.
All right. You're leading the Pennzoil Marine Angler of the Year race right now, and you said on the FLW podcast just a couple weeks ago that there's no lake you would rather go to than Kentucky Lake to kind of defend your title, so to speak.
I've changed my mind.
Okay, that's what I wanted to know. You're not Kentucky Lake right now.
No, I after about half of the day, I thought about that quote and that comment, and I've changed my mind. I would love to be anywhere but Kentucky Lake right now. Kentucky Lake and the Mississippi River, because I've gone through this whole scenario on the Mississippi River. I grew up where everybody's seen bull weights on the Mississippi River back in the good old days when Gary Klein won all those tournaments. Well, it's not like that anymore. It takes 11 or 12 pounds to win, and I'm afraid it's going to get like that here. It's just Kentucky Lake is so big. It has so much acreage that it can take a lot of carp, but there can be so many that it'll fill this up too, and it looks like that's what's starting to happen.
Okay, well, we will cross our fingers that it doesn't happen right now and that we get at least this good tournament out of it. And Mark, thanks for stopping by and good luck out there.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Alrighty, next man up is John Cox, Mr. Shallow Water on Kentucky Lake. We're kind of in that little in-between time of year, I suppose, where you could catch a lot of fish out deep. You could maybe catch some fish shallow too. Did you look around up there a little?
I did. You know, I didn't. I brought another boat with me this week. You know, it's more of a walleye style. It's a crestliner bass hawk,
okay.
And I was going to use it to run around and kind of, you know, do a little more idling and fish out a little more. You know, I ended up not taking it today, and I took the regular PT-20 and wanted to go up shallow and look around, and I did, and it was crazy. It started off, the water was like 70 degrees. You know, I was like, oh, you know, this might work out really good, and by like noon it was like 82, you know, and
gosh.
Yeah, so I think a lot of fish are moving out or off the bank just a hair. I mean, I'm sure there's still some up on the bank. I just haven't found them yet.
Okay.
So, you know, we're gonna move around some more. We're gonna, you know, go check a whole completely different end of the lake tomorrow, and then yeah, we might have to bring out the bass hawk and start idling around the last day of practice.
All right, well, I don't know if I like the sound of that out of you, but I guess we'll see. You have a really keen eye for like water levels and those little subtle things. What, in your mind, what's the water been doing and kind of continue to do?
The way it looked like it's been falling, and even today it looked like it fell. Like it might have fell not quite a foot, but I mean it looked like it fell quite a bit from this morning. You know, that's never good for the shallow bite, but you know, it can easily, you know, we can get some rain and stuff, and it can easily fill right back up, and you know, and change things around. So I mean, I'm just going to try to take it, you know, one day at a time, and you know, and it's just going to be a tough bite. You know, I think you know, you're only going to be getting, you know, 7 to 10 bites a day, and you know, and hopefully they're going to be big ones.
Yeah, it seemed like in that Elite Series tournament, there weren't a lot of guys getting a ton of bites.
Right.
And I guess that might even help out if you do decide to fish shallow. That might help you where you don't have to compete with someone on the ledges catching 50 keepers a day or something like that.
Right, yeah, I mean, you're just not, I don't even know out there if you're going to catch a ton yet. You know, we'll find out later in the week, but
yeah, we'll see. We'll wait and see what Lambert weighs in on day one.
Yeah, we'll see how he does, and then we'll know if they're all out or not. But
all right, if you had to make a couple of fantasy fishing picks, give me like 2 deep guys and maybe 2 shallow guys, and you can count yourself. I'm happy either way.
Well, yeah, I mean, you normally count me. I mean, the way it's setting up is normally how I like, where you know, you catch a fish and then you don't visit that spot again the rest of the tournament.
Okay.
I think that's gonna maybe come into play here. But like, so my shallow guys would be probably Andy Morgan, and I think. You know, I don't know. I mean, just someone that's beating the bank's going to catch them pretty good. And then,
just say yourself.
Yeah, I myself. And then I think, you know, for offshore, you know, Lambert's really good. I know Thrift's going to catch them, because I mean, I think it's going to be I think it's even going to be a grind out there. You know, them guys they might only be getting 6 or 7 hits out there too, and so you know, definitely them guys. And I don't know, man. I'm excited. You know, I mean, we got here, and then we go to St. Clair. You know, so it's
you sound pretty jacked up.
I am. I'm really excited to show everybody this new boat. So hopefully I'll have it out here by the last day of practice, and get it ready for the tournament.
Alrighty. So Kentucky Lake, it's over 100 miles long, and you're not running 70 miles an hour. How far south will you venture? Because the lake does kind of change the farther you go, and you kind of got Barkley too.
Right, and then, you know, that was the whole reason to bring this other boat. It wasn't necessarily to fish offshore, but it was to be able to make that long run, and if it got rough, you know.
Okay.
So that was, you know, what I'm gonna do tomorrow. I'm going to practice. I'm going to practice way down there. So.
All right, you're putting the boat in at Paris, in Johnsonville.
Probably. Going to go a lot farther than you know, normal, but you know, just check a couple spots that might be good, and then you know, see what happens.
All right, well, John, thanks for stopping by, and good luck out there.
All right, thanks.